Alice Walker is known for her work as an author, poet, and activist. She was born on February 9, 1944 in Eaton, Georgia, where racial discrimination was still heavily present.
The mysterious wonder of life is that you just never know where anything is going. I started writing when I was 8 or 9, and I think part of it was out of the isolation of the injury. My brothers and I were playing cowboys and Indians. One of my brothers shot me in the eye and I lost the vision. So because of that, I was able to get a partial scholarship to college. And so in the end, you can't even really regret your misfortunes because they led you somewhere. The whole South was in an uproar because we were trying to change the very system that my parents had suffered under. I went to Mississippi and rejoined the civil rights movement. I think it's important to have faith in one's gift. The movement was so much about legal things. It was a huge act of faith that clearly, if I have been prepared as a writer to be here to witness this, there's a meaning, and eventually it will be clear.
Walker attended a racially segregated high school where she graduated as valedictorian and received a scholarship to help her attend Spelman College in Atlanta, a historically black female college. While attending Spelman College, where she met Martin Luther King Jr., she became active in the civil rights movement.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
59 was the big year for the civil rights movement in a way. That was the big burst because of the Montgomery bus boycott. The whole South was in an uproar because we were trying to change the very system that my parents and grandparents and great-grandparents had suffered under. But the catch-22 was that for a student, if you joined the movement and were arrested, you had every possibility of losing your scholarship. I could not be a part of the movement. What I remember about being in Atlanta in the movement was trying to integrate churches. And these deacons came and met us carrying axe handles.
She later transferred to Sarah Lawrence College in New York, where she spent her junior year studying abroad in Africa. While still attending Sarah Lawrence College, she composed her first poetry collection, Once. She later graduated in 1965 and in 1970 published her first novel, The Third Life of Grange Copeland, a story about 3 generations of poor sharecroppers. In 1983, she published her most famous novel, The Color Purple. She received both the National Book Award and Pulitzer Prize for this novel, making her the first African-American woman to receive a Pulitzer Prize for fiction. It was later adapted in the 1985 movie directed by Steven Spielberg, and for the New York City Broadway Theater in 2005.
A lot of the things in The Color Purple happened to people in my family long before I was born. My grandmother was murdered by a man who wanted to be her lover. It really influenced my imagination because I really missed her. I missed not having this elder and this grandmother. It's not autobiographical in the sense that I knew hardly anybody. I listened to people tell stories about the family. Part of the creation of The Color Purple is just out of a longing to be more intimate with my ancestors at a time when I didn't exist.
In a series of letters to God, Alice has created an inspiring story of an unforgettable woman who, through love, finds the strength to triumph over adversity and discover her own voice in the world.
Dear God, I'm 14 years old. I've always been a good girl. Maybe you can give me a sign and let me know what's happening to me.
Along with writing, Walker has also taught African American Women's Studies at Wellesley, University of Massachusetts, Yale, Brandeis, and the University of California, Berkeley, and she has become well known for her work as an activist. Walker states, "It has become a common feeling, I believe, as we have watched our heroes falling over the years, that our own small stone of activism which might not seem to measure up to the rugged boulders of heroism we have so admired, is a paltry offering toward the building of an edifice of hope. Many who believe this choose to withhold their offerings out of shame. This is the tragedy of the world.
My name is Alice Walker, and I am with the U.S. Boat to Gaza, and very happy to be a part of our delegation, which is very soulful and making wonderful sounds, and thank you very much. I am going to Gaza because my government has failed. It has failed us. It has failed to understand or to care about the Gazan people. But worse than that, our government is ignorant of our own history in the United States. For instance, when black people were enslaved for 300 years, it took a lot of people from outside of our communities to come to help free us. And also, during the period of the Civil Rights Movement, which was in the 1960s, again, it took people from outside of our own communities to come and help us free ourselves. This is a fine tradition of going to people who need us wherever they exist on the planet. This is our responsibility. This is what we are here for as human beings.
Wow. It's shocking beyond anything I have ever experienced. And it's actually so horrible that it's basically unbelievable, even though I'm standing here and I've been walking here and I've been looking at things here. It still feels like, you could never convince anyone that this is actually what is happening and what has happened to these people and what the Israeli government has done. It will be a very difficult thing for anyone to actually believe in. So it's totally important that people come to visit and to see for themselves. Because the world community that cares about peace and cares about truth and cares about justice will have to find a way to deal with this. We cannot let this go as if it's just okay, especially those of us in the United States who pay for this.
Through her work during the Civil Rights Movement and as a teacher, writer, and activist, Alice Walker has made an impact and continues to make an impact on countless lives. Her novels, short stories, and poetry are often addressed in the classroom setting. One short story that is often referenced in many classrooms is Alice Walker's Everyday Use, a story that addresses heritage, power, and oppression. Alice Walker states, "I think writing really helps you heal yourself. I think if you write long enough, you will be a healthy person. That is, if you write what you need to write, as opposed to what will make money or what will make fame."